Hello, and welcome to Gather to Give. I'm Julie, a Gilda greeter, and I'm happy to be here with you this morning. Actually, I'm happy to be there with you this morning. That's me waving from our table. Hi! Tuesdays are one of my favorite days because the clubhouse is filled with flowers donated by our local Trader Joe's and dropped off by our volunteer Becky. Aren't they lovely? Gather to Give will begin in 10 minutes. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning and welcome to Gilda's Club Twin Cities Gather to Give.
So we are going to be talking about the Tree of Life. This is something that, it's looking at your life, at your roots, what grounds you, how you stand tall, and what you reach for. And I think, coming from Gilda's Club, being impacted by cancer changes how you stand. It shakes your foundation and your roots.
As we were talking about what the theme for this year's Gather to Give breakfast could be, we couldn't help but think about the founders planting this seed, now almost 10 years ago. And that growing in our community and stretching out those branches into greater Minnesota now with our ability to have virtual reach.
Yes, I love that metaphor so much. I've always had this love for trees, right? Because I always think of them as like being strong and just rooted. And that's the exact same thing I think of Gilda's, right? Like being rooted in our community and being strong and sustainable.
Well, because we're going into the spring, I'm really thinking about blooming and trees growing and leaves budding. And I think we see a lot of that here at Gilda's Club.
A tree's growth and all the transitions that it goes through in different seasons. Like our members, they grow through all these different transitions from newly diagnosed to a new member to someone living with cancer to either then post-treatment or maybe they've passed on. And so then their family and friends come in as those living with loss, like leaves being added to a tree as it grows.
But when they come here and they're part of our community and they're able to enjoy life again, they start to bud. And I kind of like that metaphor.
I think it is a beautiful imagery relating to how Gilda's Club has impacted the community and continues to be a solid structure for us to harbor underneath and for us to celebrate.
Please welcome Minnesota State Representative Patty Acom.
Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Gilda's Club Twin Cities Gather to Give Breakfast 2023. A Tree of Life. It's a metaphor that resonates personally with me because in addition to being a state representative, I'm also a wildlife biologist. I have professionally studied birds, I personally enjoy birding, and where do birds hang out? But in the trees. When Gilda's team first shared with me this theme, it brought to mind many connections. I thought of this beautifully wooded area around us where the clubhouse put down roots. I too have deep roots in Minnetonka. I was born and raised here and now represent this area in the state legislature. I also thought of the rings on a tree marking the years of growth that Gilda's community has made possible. And finally, I thought of the branches of the tree reaching out, embracing all of us who navigate cancer. That embrace is certainly how I first experienced Gilda's Club, shortly after I was diagnosed with breast cancer about 6 years ago. During the chemotherapy portion of my treatment, I lost my hair, my eyebrows, and even my eyelashes. As a cancer patient, you often stick out like a sore thumb wherever you go, and it's hard to hide that you're on this journey. But there were times I didn't want that to define me, and I just wanted to blend in. Now, I'm not a person who normally wears a lot of makeup, so it was a challenge for me to look like I actually had eyebrows. I heard Gilda's Club had a makeup class, so I signed up. What I found was a room full of women who all had very different cancer stories, but were all in the same place. It felt so comfortable and so powerful to be with people who understood without even words. They just got it. So I later went back to Gilda's Club for other classes and support groups as well. Along my cancer journey, I became acutely aware of the barriers many cancer patients face. Barriers like accessible and affordable healthcare and timely diagnostic screening. As we all know, early detection leads to better outcomes. I had good insurance, so I was screened and diagnosed early, but that's not the case for everyone. And this inequity is one of the reasons I ran for the legislature. My first year, I introduced a bill that ensured there were no out-of-pocket costs to patients for breast cancer screening. Unfortunately, the first year it didn't pass. So the next year, I enlisted Senator Carla Nelson to help advance the bill in a bipartisan way. We've worked hard over the last several years to keep this moving forward because this issue means so very much to both of us. Not only is Carla's mom a breast cancer survivor, but shortly after we introduced the legislation, Carla too was diagnosed with cancer, reminding us once again that the need for support of our fellow Minnesotans is real and continuing. I'm confident that this year our bill is going to pass and we can remove the barriers to early detection. Meanwhile, we take heart knowing that Gilda's Club Twin Cities is here to provide the community with connection, the support, the education, and ensuring that no one faces cancer alone. This morning, we'll be hearing from others who've benefited from this tree of life that is Gilda's Club Twin Cities. Anyone who has been impacted by a cancer diagnosis, whatever type of cancer and at whatever stage, whether attending in person or virtually, whether in Minnetonka or Bemidji, there's room for all of us under these branches. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Now please join me in welcoming one of the founding members of Gilda's Club Twin Cities, Jenny Lillydahl. Thank
you. Good morning. Thank you, Patty. Hi, everyone. I'm deciding which mic to use. Should I use this one? Should I use this one? Are they both good? Okay. I'm so proud to be here this morning with everyone. We're on the cusp of our 10th anniversary, which means it's our 9th anniversary, right? 10th anniversary of when we put down the roots of Gilda's Club Twin Cities, and that's hard to believe. So thank you for being here. Before we head into the program, it's my job to help you and for all of us to thank the people that made today possible with their investment of time, talent, financial support, and those who continue to sustain this wonderful organization. So here's your task. You do have to hold your applause till the end, please. There's several slides, so we'll just go through those, and then we can, okay, I'm gonna move over here now. Then we can thank everyone at the end, okay? All right, so first, our table hosts. These are the people that invited you here today. Thank you, table hosts, and our wonderful Glenda, who has run our table host program forever. Next to our sponsors, a huge thank you to all of these sponsors who made sure that this event is fully paid for so that all of your donations today will go to the program. So our platinum sponsor, LDI, our gold sponsors, Mairs Power and Medica, I'm going to read these to you, so in case you're way in the back. Our silver sponsor, Allina Health. Bronze sponsors, Lexus of Wayzata, praeeo, SFM Work Comp Experts, and Thrivent. Our in-kind contributors, Atomic K, Brandspeak, and Capecci Communications. And a very special thank you to our leaders in giving. These are the people that have set an example of generosity for our community. And a huge thank you to our board of directors and our fabulous volunteers. If you're wearing one of those red volunteer shirts, can you please wave? Yes, yes, yes. We're holding our applause. You guys are doing great with your... I think it's the first year we've held applause, so this is a special group today. Yes. And finally, thank you to the beautiful walk-in music with Berg and Lewis. And now, let's do the applause. Now I'm going to move over here. All right, before we roll on to the next video, I would like to take a second to go back to our roots a little bit and that tree metaphor. And to do that, I am inviting my friends and co-founders to the stage, Dolly Lowry and Carrie Puterbaugh.
We're doing hugs. As you know, a tree begins with a seed. Our seed was planted when the three of us met to ponder the idea of opening a Gilda's Club. I remember sitting at the general store in 2005 with a blank sheet of paper, a vacant plot of soil. It wasn't long after that the idea took root and dozens of individuals and organizations united to imagine a place called Gilda's Club Twin Cities.
And when you look at the underside of a stable, maturing tree, there is one root that stands out from the others. It works quietly under the earth, providing that essential stability so the tree thrives. This root, this person, is often called the lifeblood of the organization. And not every organization is as lucky to have a root like this, but we are. Our very special root, our humble lifeblood, is Valerie Martinson. And Val, can you please join us on the stage? Surprise, Val. Surprise, Val. You're right here.
We know, Val, that you prefer to stay behind the scenes, but we couldn't wait any longer to recognize you in a way that you deserve. So just hang in there with us for a minute.
Val Martinson was the first person I asked to join the board, right? 18 years ago. She said yes, and then fully embraced the position of volunteer accountant for the organization, a role she's performed with meticulous grace and integrity ever since. Every donation, bill, budget, spreadsheet, and tax filing has passed through this woman's hands. She performs the work of a full-time CFO, yet as a volunteer, her contributions are too numerous to list, but suffice it to say, everyone loves you, Val, for your time and your talent, everything you've given, and you're an honorable, bright human being that we love.
So, Val, after 18 years, on behalf of the entire Gilda's Club community, not only have the three of us thought about this for a long time, but also the entire Gilda's Club staff, volunteers, we'd like to officially name you as one of the co-founders of Gilda's Club Twin Cities.
You're co-founder. And Val, we'd like to give you, I know, please come forward. Yeah, standing, oh man. We'd like you to have this bonsai tree, a visual living reminder of what you created and continue to nurture here in your heart and your hands. Thank you. We love you. I'll carry this hand for you.
Do I need to speak? Thank you. I'm very honored to be added to this. This organization is super special to me, and it's been a joy to serve, and I hope to continue to volunteer and contribute. So thank you all.
She's so mad at us. Val is very, very quiet behind the scenes and truly is our root. So thank you, Val. All right. Whew. This morning we are highlighting some of our art and nature therapy aspects of our programming, but as many of you know, we have so much more that goes on at Gilda's Club Twin Cities. So here is a quick overview.
No one should face cancer alone. These simple words sum up the Gilda's Club Twin Cities philosophy. We provide the emotional, social, and psychological support that is proven to improve overall health outcomes. Our clubhouse is a healing environment where individuals learn from one another while receiving guidance from licensed mental health professionals. Gilda's Club Twin Cities is a welcoming community, a place to go for free support for everyone living with any type of cancer, men, women, teens, and children, along with their families, friends, and caregivers. As an affiliate of the worldwide cancer support community, our program comes with more than 30 years of expertise behind it. Our program includes support, healthy lifestyle, education, social opportunities, information and referral resources, plus children, teen, and families. The Gilda's Club philosophy is built upon 3 core principles. Our program is free to everyone all the time. Our clubhouse is home-like, warm and welcoming. And at Gilda's Club, people learn to live fully with cancer, whatever the outcome. Come experience for yourself the Gilda's Club community. All are welcome.
I have to wait for my buddy.
I almost forgot I worked here. Had to was enthralled with the video. Good morning, everyone. I'm Shaniqua James, Program Director at Gilda's Club Twin Cities.
And I'm Catherine Todd, Executive Director. Welcome. As many of you know, if you've been to a breakfast before, this is usually the part where our Program Director reviews the pillars that we just heard about. But Shaniqua and I are going to change things up a little bit this year. We wanted to speak to you together to make one simple and important point. The only reason Gilda's Club exists is for our programming. Everything we do, every plan we make, everything we do to earn your support, and every dollar that we earn goes directly to support our members.
Right. This is how we all work together every day at Gilda's Club Twin Cities with the real clear understanding that everything we do must demonstrate community is stronger than cancer.
So we're going to talk about programs and operations. We're going to give you a sense of why the what and the how are so closely linked here at Gilda's Club Twin Cities.
I'll start. When I think back over this past year, I think about 2 things. First, how the clubhouse just got busier and busier. It has been such a great experience to watch people come back into the clubhouse and watch people connect with each other.
Since last year's breakfast, with your support, we have been able to add 7 new in-person support groups and 5 new facilitators, all while still running our virtual support groups for those who need that option. Thank you for helping make that possible.
Yes. We are now successfully running 2 clubhouses, 1 physical location and 1 virtual. And we are reaching more Minnesotans outside of a 15-mile clubhouse radius. Which brings me to the second thing. We've made incredible strides in addressing the barriers people face to access our unique care and support. Barriers like location, physical ability, lack of transportation, technology, or financial challenges. We are reaching further into communities and expanding Gilda's on the go.
And the data is clear. We are profoundly impacting more Minnesotans than ever before. The reason we were able to shift to virtual support was because in 2019, pre-pandemic, the Planning Strategic Committee had the foresight to set goals to reach more Minnesotans, remove access barriers, and improve technology. Because of that foresight, we've been able to stretch the limbs of this tree even further.
From Duluth to Pelican Rapids to Rochester,
where doctors at the Mayo Clinic are now referring their patients to us.
From the headwaters of the Mississippi to the red rocks of the Iron Range, from rural farms and small towns where the closest neighbor could be 20 miles away, and you may not know anyone else in your community who has cancer, to other communities who may not be on a bus route to reach us.
And as you know, or you may know, Gilda's Club Twin Cities is one of 49 locally funded affiliates across the nation who are a part of the Cancer Support Community, or CSC as we refer to it. In 2014, when we were chartered, we were only chartered to serve 11 metro counties. One of the first things that we did in 2021 as a result of this virtual outreach was to ask CSC to suspend those boundaries and allow us to add counties. So county by county, we are moving toward being a statewide network affiliate. So this is the silver lining of COVID. So now the only boundaries that hold us here at Gilda's are in the shape of the beautiful state of Minnesota. Plus, we are also reaching into important strategic planning regarding our need to continually expand our diversity, our equity, and our inclusion.
Right. So as Catherine mentioned before, we've added 5 new facilitators. One of those new facilitators is Patty Santos, who led our first ever Spanish language support group. Held in a Minneapolis dance studio, and this program was a Gilda's program driven by the community in partnership with Lorianne Frejas, who is a doctoral researcher at the University of Minnesota. This wonderful program will serve as a model for us continuing to build relationships with, emphasis on that, and offer programming for culturally diverse communities. We are so delighted to have State Representative Patty A. come with us here this morning. I've been honored to testify a number of times about the importance of the bill she and Representative Nelson are sponsoring. Thank you from all of us for the work that you're doing at the state level to support the cancer community.
And speaking of the state level, the Department of Health in Minnesota has a Cancer Alliance Plan 2025. And we have all been challenged to improve the support that we offer to everyone in Minnesota. And that's just what we're doing. As we know all too well, social determinants of health affect cancer rates in many areas. Our neighbors from both urban and rural and non-English speaking communities, along with tribal lands, are impacted by cancer to a greater degree and yet remain largely underserved. That is why I'm excited about one initiative in particular that we are partnering with CSC on called the Affordable Connectivity Program. This was launched as a benefit from the FCC for people who can't afford connecting Wi-Fi, so we can offer them free Wi-Fi, a free tablet with a Gilda's Club app, so that they can access Gilda's Club services from anywhere at any time with no cost. I love it. Thank you. That means we are giving better access from people who are underserved.
By the way, we don't want to brag or anything, but we are the only CSC affiliate with a program like this.
Not that we're competitive or anything. Okay, so that's a lot. What's next?
Well, there are a projected 35,000 new diagnoses in this state in 2023 alone. So that means we must continue to expand our programming.
And as we head into 2024, our 10th anniversary, we have a beautiful opportunity to continue to take Gilda's on the go, take us into places and communities that have not, and frankly, would not be able to meet us in person. And those inspired new communities will help to fund their community programs, so our fundraising efforts will continue to expand as well.
Yes. Our theme this year says it well: strong roots, expanded reach, and all are welcome.
Thank you for being with us on this journey. It is now our pleasure to introduce our next member, who lives in Fairmont, 206 miles away, or 2 hours by car. Please welcome Cindy Johnson. You had one job to do.
One job and I forgot.
Sorry.
Good grief. Good morning, everyone. As Catherine just mentioned, my family and I live in Fairmont, which is actually a 2-hour and 15-minute drive from here. I know that because I've made that drive around 80 times over the past 5 years so that I could attend more than 200 support groups and events at Gilda's Club Twin Cities. They truly have been my lifeline ever since I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. If you've ever been to Fairmont or maybe heard of it, you know it's a small town. At the time of my diagnosis, my husband Brad and I were both teaching at the local high school. We had 2 kids in the school system, and Brad was coaching football and track. We had a lot of connections to the school and, of course, to the community. But because of my health and my treatments, I had to retire early. I had a very difficult time walking away from teaching after 22 years in the school district because, well, that wasn't part of the plan. Plus, my colleagues and my friends, they were all my support group at the school. So on top of the cancer diagnosis, I was grieving the loss of my community, my job, and not seeing my friends on a day-to-day basis. I did see friends occasionally, but eventually they all went back to work and to their busy lives while I was left to navigate my health and treatments with a prognosis that wasn't very promising. Plus, being a wife and a parent to 4 amazing boys. The parenting component was tough. I'll never forget my son asking me, "Mom, what comes after stage 4? How do you even answer that question?" I needed people who could identify with me, support me, and who I could support as well. The parent support group at Gilda saved me at a really, really dark time. And that's why I was willing to make that drive. And not just the support groups. The Euro Cafe, if you've ever been to it, it's amazing. I highly recommend it. Food for Life, the yoga classes, and the art therapy classes. They helped me to be brave and to try new things. When COVID hit, I was so thankful I could still stay in touch via Zoom. Gilda's Club didn't miss a day of programming when they shifted to virtual. So now I have options. When the blizzards kick up, as we know they do, I can still attend my groups. And when the weather is better, I can make the drive. And I get together with people from my support groups, even outside of groups. We meet for lunch, we text, and we email. I've established long-term friends that are near and dear to me. And having that shared cancer experience just kind of opens us up. Not that we talk about cancer all the time, but I know their families and the highs and lows of their lives. We support each other in our cancer journeys, but we also support each other in our daily lives. I remember once coming to the cities one day in the fall. It was a bit chilly, but it was sunny, so it was a beautiful day. We didn't even have a support group scheduled, but I said to a couple friends, hey, let's meet at Gilda's. We did. We sat outside the clubhouse in the lawn chairs, the beautiful park-like garden. Being outside, that in itself makes me feel better. My initial prognosis was 3 to 5 years. Do what you can. Do your best. Enjoy life right now. And here I am at 5 years, and I'm still doing really well. I take every day as a blessing, and I find joy in every single day. And I thank Gilda's Club Twin Cities for being my support, my connection, and my joy. Thank you.
Well, you know, I was looking for a place to volunteer. I've tried a lot of different organizations, and one of my neighbors said, hey, Pat, there's Gilda's Club 2 miles from where we live. So I drove over right away, and then I walked in the building, and then I asked to have someone give me a tour of the place. And I was so impressed with what I saw. I saw a very positive environment. You know, it's funny because my husband died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, so he had cancer for 4.5 years. I never thought that I would get involved with a cancer environment because I remember that being a caregiver, it was very hard. But this place has such a very positive environment and attitude. I think there's probably about 7 or 8 different theme gardens outside. So what we do is we basically clean up the place. We do a lot of planting. There is a garden club that contributes plots and plants, and then it's our responsibility to make sure things look good, because it's very important for the members or the staff when they go outside to really see beauty in all the things that they're facing. You know, so they feel a sense of joy and peace because they know that this is something that does not cause them pain. It really gives them a lot of joy. You know, I really look forward to being here every Tuesday morning. I feel that it's a natural part of me to be out there getting dirty. You know, I think the beauty and the naturalness of my being here, it's almost an extension of what I want my life to be.
Good morning, everyone. I have to look in all directions. I'm Renee Anderson, the Administrative and Volunteer Coordinator here at Gilda's, and I'm happy to introduce Dr. John Pietkowski. He is a 4-year member of our Board of Directors and our Board Chair.
Thank you, Renee, and I'm glad you got down safely. So. Good morning. It's great to be here with you today. As Renee mentioned, I'm currently serving as the board chair for Gilda's, and I'm also a member of the local medical community, so I'm afforded another lens to look at what Gilda's Twin Cities offers. And like most of you, I also have part of my family tree included in the cancer experience. So I'm going to speak briefly this morning on all 3 of those perspectives. As Vice President for the Healthcare Partnerships for Medica, I oversee partnerships with health systems across 12 states, including many here in Minnesota. And one of the things that we witness on a daily basis is the pressure and stress the nurses and clinicians are under in today's times. They see the need for social and emotional support for the families, the patients, and the caregivers, but they're unable to cover all those aspects themselves just due to time constraints. And so it's a constant reminder that there's never been a greater need for organizations like Gilda's Clubs that are stepping up, filling that space, and supporting that need. As the new board chair for Gilda's, I also have to say how exciting it is to be heading into next year's 10th anniversary of us not having just built the clubhouse, but also seamlessly serving members through the lockdown and now supporting people in person, virtually, and in hybrid models. From events like this, to volunteers at the front desk, to behind the scenes in ways we never see, Catherine and her team have really brought us stability and grace in decidedly unstable times. We are positioned beautifully for the years ahead, and there are boundless ways we can continue to support communities across Minnesota. On a quick side note, and this struck me last year at breakfast as well, what kind of organization or what other organization do you know where people who don't work there anymore come back and volunteer and run events like this? So thank you, Lori, so much, and so many others for returning to help us do this. We come to Gilda's Twin Cities for many reasons, and we end up staying and investing in ourselves for many reasons. Hopefully you've had time to take one of the leaves at your table. If not, look for one of those and jot down what brought you here today. In my case, I've been involved with nonprofits throughout my career, but 5 years ago, when we moved back to Minnesota, friends and colleagues recommended Gilda's. And I have to admit, the organization was new to me. I didn't know about the Red Door, but I knew Gilda Radner, one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live, and my sister Anna knew her well as well. Anna was a semi-professional theater performer. She loved SNL, she loved Gilda, she loved comedy, and she happened to have a huge laugh that she maintained throughout her life. We lost Anna 21 years ago to uterine cancer. When I learned exactly what Gilda's was and how it matched her personality, it couldn't have been a more perfect fit to volunteer time and energy. Last May, to mark the 20th anniversary of Anna's passing, we donated an entire day of programming at Gilda's Club in her honor, setting the goal to raise the required $2,500 from our personal network. Though Anna had never lived in the Twin Cities, as we do, between her extended family, friends, and former colleagues from more than 40 states and a few different countries came together and donated in her name. When the totals came in, we found that we had raised more than twice our initial goal. It was an amazing remembrance of her spirit and celebration of what Gilda's can offer. So I'm asking you to consider that as an option for how you support Gilda's in the year to come. My board colleague, Allina, will tell you more about a day sponsorship and other support opportunities. So thank you all so much for being here, for what you give and what you get from Gilda's, and for ensuring that through us and others, no one faces cancer alone.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, y'all know my name. Amazing. I'm Annie. I'm the manager of Member Path here at Gilda's Club. I'm also a licensed marriage and family therapist. And so a big part of my job is welcoming new members into our community and seeing how they use our community and what comes from their life, how they enjoy it as long as they can. One of the people I've had the pleasure to meet along the way is Mark Laney.
Wow, it's early for a guy like me. Normally my goal is to get up in time to watch The Price is Right, so I'm doing well. Good morning, my name is Mark Laney. My wife Susan is here with me this morning. She is my rock. She makes my complicated life so much better. I'm not sure what I'd do without you. Thank you. I've been a member of Gilda's since 2018. I've been diagnosed with cancer 3 times. I was first diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma, kidney cancer, in the fall of 2015. I was re-diagnosed with metastatic kidney cancer in the fall of 2018. As if that wasn't enough, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor in February of 2020, just weeks before the COVID lockdown. It has been a 7-year roller coaster. My initial diagnosis was terrifying and would set my life on a path no one would ever anticipate or prepare for. I still remember the moment the doctor said the words cancer. The room went tunnel vision, and I had to lay down on the exam table because I was about to pass out. His words were and still are a blur. 20 minutes after hearing those terrifying words, Sue and I were sitting in the parking lot with a slip of paper in hand with a phone number to call to schedule my kidney removal. That was it. I may have gotten a pamphlet for cancer support, but I don't remember. From a medical perspective, the doctors, nurses, and staff were on it. I was in good hands medically. But I was lost mentally and emotionally. No one was there to check on me, on my mental state, to help make appointments for therapists or counselors. We were on our own. So I toughed it out. Besides, they were going to take my kidney out and send me on my way. 92% chance of being cancer-free 5 years from now. After the surgery and during my recovery, I reminded Sue of the very first time we met for a beer. It wasn't even our first official date. We talked at length about how we each loved the outdoors in the north woods of Minnesota and Wisconsin, and how we both dreamed of owning a cabin on a lake. We were married 1 year later. It was a dream we continued to talk about. After my initial surgery in 2015, I told Sue now is the time. Life is short and nothing is guaranteed. In January of 2017, we bought an awesome little cabin on the edge of a lake nestled in the large white pines of northern Wisconsin. But we're not cheeseheads, just to be clear. It has been the second best thing we've ever done, our son Owen being the best. When I received the second diagnosis that kidney cancer had metastasized to my lungs, bones, lymph nodes, etc., I had to find emotional help. I was pissed off at the world and terrified. I found Gilda's through a therapist, internet searches, and friends who were familiar with the organization. My first encounter at Gilda's was with a large group of newly diagnosed members, but I was advised to join a smaller, more intimate group. The larger group setting was just too emotional for me. It's been amazing. I've since joined other groups, including Dudes and Donuts, Fred. Who doesn't love a free donut? But they're not free, and that's why we're here, right? During COVID, I did not actively participate in any groups. I'm an in-person person. But I continued to make donations to Gilda's, and on my birthday of 2021, I posted a Facebook fundraiser and told my story to the internet for the first time. Within 3 days, I had raised almost $3,500. Not sure why that makes me emotional, but so there's an idea for your next birthday. An important point I want to share with you this morning. I've been on immunotherapy for almost 5 years. I'm one of the far too few people who is a super responder to immunotherapy. It's been 5 years of highs and lows, starts and stops, a long list of side effects and drugs to counter. Each of these events cause renewed fears and anxieties. I am the new face of cancer patients. I will never be cured, but I'm living way longer than the doctors even expected. It's not like before when you were either cured and a survivor or you were a memory. I'm living with cancer. It's always there, always. That's a huge burden and requires help. Like the help that I get from the staff, and more importantly, the other members of Gilda's Club. The comfort, compassion, and caring I feel when I walk through those doors helps keep me going and brightens my day. So, I've been around longer than I should have been, and I plan on sticking around a lot longer, as long as I can. It takes a lot of resources, money, to keep a guy like me out of a curled up fetal position. My 16-year-old son, Owen, is the reason I'm here. I truly believe that. He is my everything. Please help me. Please help me and the other members, survivors, and families be the best we can be for the people we love. Thank you.
I learned of Gilda's Club during my breast cancer treatments 9.5 years ago. During my cancer treatments, I reached back to a lifelong passion of mine, birding. I found great comfort and revitalizing energy from watching the activity at my bird feeders and getting involved in the birding community in the Twin Cities. While birding, I find myself rooted in the present moment, outside, with the wind, trees, bird songs, no matter the temperature, unfurling my senses to receive what the day has to offer. Tuning in to hear and see the birds fills and restores me, making me feel strong and steady and whole, a solid part of this world. I am grateful to share my joy and love of birds with Gilda's Club members. It is my hope that they too may find a restorative natural space where they can feel rooted and steady and strong.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bree Garcia-Myers, the Marketing and Development Director at Gilda's Club Twin Cities. Before I introduce our final guest, I want to take a moment to thank all of the members who have shared their personal stories with us this morning. Thank you all so much. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce scholar, poet, performer, and longtime supporter of Gilda's Club Twin Cities, Dr. Tammy Spry.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, yay! Wonderful. For the better part of 30 years, I've been coaching people in transforming their personal stories into actions of hope and help and community. Powerful stories, my goodness, like those we have heard here this morning. For the last 10 years or so, I have been researching and writing and giving workshops on the healing effects of interacting with nature. Powerful healing effects, again, like so many of those we've heard this morning. So I am obviously particularly delighted to be with you here this morning, where all of this comes together in a rich and lush symbol, the tree of life. So let's take a moment as a community to connect to this rich symbol. So, everyone put your feet flat on the floor, if you would. Also, just kind of get your body nice and loosened up. Put your feet flat on the floor. Now imagine, if you will, close your eyes if you would like. Imagine, if you will, that you are that tree of life and that your feet are sending roots down through the floor of this room, down through the basement of this hotel, down through the very foundation of this building, and now your roots have met the earth, and in they go, connecting you to all the trees of life around you, to your family and friends, and to all the people in this room who have come together to support the life-affirming spirit that is Gilda's Club, Twin Cities. Now, open your eyes, but keep those roots planted because we're going to be doing something with them in just a moment. In her book, It's Always Something, Gilda Radner wrote, "Nature was my sanctuary, a place where I felt safe and free." In a study by Dr. Erica Timko Olson from the University of Minnesota School of Nursing, over 2,500 patients reported that, quote, nature was the most important resource in their coping with cancer, improving anxiety, depression, fatigue, and pain. Poet Mary Oliver puts it this way. She writes, "When I am among the trees, the willows and the honey locust, equally the birch and the pine and the oak, they seem to give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me daily. When I am so distant from the hope of myself, around me the trees stir and they call out, 'Stay a while.' Light shines from their branches and they call out again, 'It's simple,' they say. 'You too have been brought into this world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine.' My mother loved the woods, and she was an avid perennial gardener. When I was 26, my mother died of ovarian cancer. And then her sister died of breast cancer, and then their youngest sister died also of ovarian cancer. My mother and her sisters grew up on Lake Superior, and we spent many, many years on her shores. And now, at 62, when I walk into that water of Lake Superior, I can feel her presence. I can feel the presence of my ancestors. And sometimes I can hear them with the tall white pines on the shores, whispering, 'Stay a while, go easy, be filled with light, and shine.' All of us are gathered here this morning to ensure that no one faces cancer alone. We're here to nurture what was planted nearly 10 years ago, a restorative, harboring sanctuary with room for us all, a place where community is stronger than cancer. So, take a look at what you've written on the leaves in front of you. And if you haven't written anything yet, that's okay, but grab those leaves if you will. Grab your leaves. Now, remember those feet on the floor? Plant them even deeper into the earth and imagine them interacting with everyone in this room. Grab your leaf, raise it high, and repeat after me. Stay a while. Go easy. Be filled with light and shine. Because community is stronger than cancer. Woo! Give yourselves a hand. Oh.
That was beautiful. My name is Allina Health. I'm the vice chair of the board here at Gilda's Club, and it is my honor in representing the board and our community in thanking you all for your past support and also hopefully your continued support. Thank you for being here. Man, our goal this morning is to raise $150,000 to support the programming at Gilda's. And luckily, we're already halfway there. So like Jenny said, thank you so much to all of our donors up till this point. Every gift that we received this morning is appreciated at any level. And I promise that as a community, we will be great stewards of your gifts. A $2,000 gift is extremely meaningful because it covers the cost of a support group for one of our members for an entire year. As JP mentioned, he and his family in their community sponsored an entire day, raising over $2,500 in honor of his sister, Anna. It's a wonderful way to support our community and also introduce Gilda's Club to the people that you care about. I also want to be clear and very bold in sharing that we need a handful of donors that can contribute at the $10,000 level or above. It would cover an entire week of programming for our members here at Gilda's and operations costs. And if you are able to donate at that level, please do. We would be so grateful. At this point, I do want to ask our table hosts to pass out the support materials. As you've heard a number of times, our tree is expanding, and I might just say we have gotten a lot of mileage out of that metaphor, so good job, team. We have significant financial requirements to continue to serve our in-person clubhouse in addition to our virtual clubhouse. We want to serve people no matter where they sit in the great state of Minnesota. And as Catherine mentioned, the only reason Gilda's Club exists, the only reason is to deliver programming to our amazing members. Pure and simple. Everything that we do, every plan that we make, every dollar that we raise goes directly back into programming. And I do want you to know that as a community, we raise all our own funding to deliver programming here at Gilda's Club. We simply can't serve our members without your support. And at this time, I want to draw your attention to the commitment card. There are a lot of different ways that you can support our community this morning. As I mentioned before, you can do a one-time financial gift. For some people in the room, a monthly, ongoing gift is an easier way from a cash flow perspective, and we would be honored for a monthly gift. There's planned giving opportunities. Some of you have appreciated stock that might make sense to donate. We love our volunteers, and we need more volunteers, so maybe that might be a way that you want to contribute. And also, if you do make a financial gift this morning, we want to make it really, really easy and help you get your employer match if that's applicable. Sponsoring a day at the clubhouse is one of my favorite ways to support the clubhouse. When I first learned about it, I wanted to do it right away. My mother-in-law, Pat, passed away to brain cancer in 2013. I know that the services that Gilda's Club provides would have made a meaningful difference for her. And when I heard about the opportunity to sponsor today, man, I jumped out on it, and I had a lot of fun with it. And we planned our day on Pat's birthday in January. It gave me another reason to say her name and tell her story. She was an amazing mom and mother-in-law, wife, grandma, sister, family member, educator, and friend. My family and I know what it's like to face cancer, and we don't want that for anyone. But we know that facing cancer within a community is the best way to do it. Whatever brought you here today, whatever reason, whoever you're remembering, you are making a difference in somebody else's life today. You are the Gilda's Club community, and community is stronger than cancer. So I do want to take a couple minutes here and just give you time to fill out your support card. If you do decide to use the QR code to make a gift, please just mark that on your commitment card and still pass it back to your table host. So let's just take a couple minutes to do that. Okay. Okay. I do want to mention that if you are trying to use the QR code, so many of us are that we might be overloading the Marriott Wi-Fi. But don't give up. Keep trying because it'll work eventually, and also know that you can back into the commitment card if you need to. I know I represent our board, our Gilda's Club team, and every single member when I say thank you so much for your contributions this morning. Thank you.
Thank you again so much for joining us this morning. On your way out, of course, linger and keep hitting send if you're having trouble. But those beautiful cards that Tammy helped us to really ground and root into, the leaves, mine is for my husband, Eric, who passed of colon cancer 3 years ago. And I will take the little sticky off. When I get just outside, there's a really nice tree that talks about our expanding roots. Please take time to put your leaf on that tree. If you want one to take home with you, we have extra. But take a moment, honor the person that you love, and we'll share that at the clubhouse with everyone who comes in to enter. Thank you again for being here, and have a safe and beautiful day.